Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to the Mindfulness of Healing. This is Mercedes Warwick, and the Mindfulness of Healing is an associate program of sacredkey.com. Thank you for being here. This one is a little tough. Your illness is not causing anything that is happening in your life. Cancer is not causing me to be financially deficient. Cancer is not causing me to be physically, right now I'll say weak. And that's a big one, because I just lived through that reality. Cancer is not the cause. Your illness is not your cause, not the cause of anything that is happening in your world in this moment. So as I speak this from a divine perspective, and I'm using that very deliberately, I'm not saying from a spiritual perspective, I'm saying from a divine perspective. When we are in our divine nature, which is the omnipresence of God, there is only one power, and that power is the omnipotence of God, or the divine itself, source itself. So when we come back and we peel all the layers back, even though in our reality there are things happening that would say, I'm weak today, or I have to buy medication, so now I have to budget and I may not have enough, right? These are the things that are I call it realized energy actualized in life, that are real in the moment. But these realities are not the power and the grace of the moment. So because we're moving through something that may be difficult, I'm not even going to say seem to be difficult, may be difficult, there is always a place for us to go to put our consciousness, our mindfulness, our prayer, our or actualize, to activate the actualized manifestation of a different circumstance. Okay? So in our human nature, whatever is happening, pain in our body, having to budget maybe, does not negate our consciousness, our power in the moment. Because we are the divine itself, because we have that divine spark within us, that is the power within us, right? So in our human nature, we would be reacting. There's an action and we're reacting to that action, right? Sometimes that is very immediate, like the tiger is coming, and so you have to deal with whatever is in front of you in that moment. I mean, it is there, it feels dangerous and unsafe, and and it must be dealt with, right? And so you're not going to stand there while the tiger comes right up in front of you. You're going to take an action of some sort. So there's an action and a reaction, and that is called your sympathetic nervous system. That when you react to something, there's even physiological responses in your body. So what happens is we get so used to being in that reactive state that's how we are living our world. That's how we're living our world, whether it is going to work, whether it is what is happening in the world today. There's a lot happening, whether we are responding and reacting to the common way of doing things and we want to maybe go against the grain, do something different. All of this becomes a physiological response in our body. So it's really important that we release that stress, right? That we let it go, okay? And we do that through pace breathing. I think there's a video somewhere, but just very briefly breathing in, 2, 3, 4, holding, 2, 3, 4, releasing, 2, 3, 4, and then holding, 2, 3, 4. Releasing means exhaling, 2, 3, 4. So you do that, and it's something that you will get at any doctor's office or most doctor's office who have any sort of breathing practice or naturopathic process for you. That is a scientifically proven way of coming back into releasing that sympathetic response and going back into your natural order of things, which is the parasympathetic response. You don't think about your heart beating, it just beats, right? My guidance was saying, you don't think about your healing, you just heal. That's what they just gave me. It was kind of talking to me in my ear. In the spiritual nature, we would say cause and effect. So in some ways, we would say, what has caused this cancer? What did I do to create this situation where I'm, in this state of ill health, And so there's a cause and effect, and really that's giving the power to the circumstance, right? It's giving the power to your particular disharmony, your particular disease. And you're saying, because of this, I can't do this, right? The thing that they just flashed up, which is really interesting, so I'm going to share that with you, is that they were saying, they were showing me, because I can't walk, or because I have this condition, I can't walk that far. That's what I'm hearing. And my guidance is saying, yes, you can. You can visualize and imagine yourself walking. You can imagine yourself getting off of. In my case, I was told I was going to be on that oxygen cord for the rest of my life, and it was I would just breathe. I would feel the breath. So you can feel the footsteps. You can breathe into a situation and go into that inner mind, your inner space, and sit with, today I'm walking. Today I'm walking a half a mile. Today I'm walking to the store. Today I'm walking into the next room. Today I'm standing up. And as you begin to visualize this, and again, I don't know if you notice, I just exhaled. So as I'm visualizing, I didn't visualize myself off of the oxygen tube. I visualized myself breathing, and in that and breathing fully and with an open lung. And at the moment, all I could do at the beginning was a very shallow breath. And then I would just imagine, it was almost, I did it so much, it was almost became an outer body experience where I was just breathing. Like I was breathing outside of my body even. It's like I had, like my body, my lungs were expanding outside. I remember this very clearly. My lungs were expanding outside of my body. That's how big and healthy and strong they had gotten. I remember that so clearly. So you are divine. Within you, there is one cause, which is one cause to bring about an effect, right? And that one cause is the omnipotency, the all infinite source. And to be in that space is your power. That's part of your divine power. And how you get into that space, maybe for another video, but how you get into that space for me is the breath, and I touch my heart, and see my shoulders were up. And as soon as I touched my heart, I don't know if you noticed, my shoulders came down. And then I felt the freedom. I felt the joy. This morning I was in my communion, and I felt the flame of ignition in my body. Like I felt my body just wakening up this morning, you know, through the flame of God, through the flame of the divine. Okay, so that's that. Now, the divine nature is the divine within us. And there's this quote that's been going around Facebook. I'm probably going to mess it up, but you are not a drop of the ocean. You are the ocean within a drop. And so if we, as spiritual beings, if you have anything in your spiritual text that says, I and the Father are one, would be one, would be an example. I am as the ocean. I am that I am. I am the I am, because I am a child of Source. That means that there is a makeup within you that is divine. And that is the power and the force of all possibilities that are within you. And so, again, where we tune into the one nature, whether it's at the human level, the spiritual level, or the divine level, it is still all one nature, right? It's how we're tuning in. It's like the radio dial. It's how we're tuning into that space. And there are times when, somebody said two things can be true. I don't know if I agree with that, but I do agree with that. I have experienced being in the human nature of something. And I'll give the most recent example. I promise you I'll get new examples soon. It's just, this is the most recent living. But that, having that reaction to chemo and being in the fetal position and wondering if I'm going to make it to the facilities on time, and wondering if when I swing my legs off the side of the bed, I have enough strength to be upright, right? That's a very real, I'm in the human nature. And those fears of, messing on myself or not having the strength. One day, as I was in recovery, I've been laying on the floor doing certain things. I had cramps wave through my body. I had read about them and I've heard ladies talk about it, but I had not experienced it. Let me tell you something. It was no joke. And I couldn't get up. I had to sit there, and because I'm a former athlete, I've dealt with Charlie horses and those kinds of things. This was nothing. This was otherworldly. Okay? And I can remember just breathing, relaxing, and trying again. Breathing, relaxing, and trying again. But I had to move through the layers, because when you're physically going through something like that, it can be a scary thing. Like, how am I going to get up off this floor, right? And then the other fear was, and what happens if the diarrhea starts? Well, I'm on the floor experiencing this. This is going to be a royal mess. I mean, those are real. That was real. That was really happening. And then I was actually in my spiritual sacred space. I was actually in the space that I do my prayers in. And so eventually I was able to just sort of breathe and then stay in the pain, because that's the other thing. I just stayed in the cramp. I just stayed there. I just stayed there until eventually I could feel it release, and feel it release, and feel it release. And for me, that is a spiritual practice. You just stay in the pain. You don't run away from it. It takes a minute sometimes. It takes a minute because stuff is scary, But the power of the divine is within me. The power of the divine is within me. You should write that down. The power of the divine is within me. And as I move myself, as I'm moving myself, as I'm becoming consciously aware of transcending that human nature that's really happening, it's painful, it's scary, and going into the spiritual nature, which is the breath, understanding that I can affect this moment. I am the cause. I can affect this moment. These cramps are not the thing that's going to hold me down today. I can affect this moment. And this moment may be a series of moments over time, right? But right now, as I'm on this floor, I'm going to begin to breathe. And believe me, when I say it was kind of like, right? And I went back into the principles of spiritual movement, meditative movement, and that kind of got the cramps to subside. They were still there, but at least when I went to push up, I had the strength in my arms and in my legs that the cramp wasn't debilitating. It was present, but it wasn't debilitating, right? Okay. And then the divine nature was, I'm here, I'm in this moment, I am present, I am here. I think that's what I was, I think that's where I went. I am present, I am here. And actually what they're showing me is I actually laid back down. There was a moment of rest. There was a moment of pausing as I allowed myself to surrender into that moment. And then I went back at it again. And it took a minute. It was not like, oh, I'm now in my divine nature, I'm going to hop on up. I had to sit there. I had to be patient with myself. I was in my breath. And at first, I couldn't, it was very surface. And then as I began to push up and stay in the pain, I could feel, they're showing me, I could feel the okayedness to surrendering into it. So I say all of this to say that it may take some time. So it took, I think I came home, let's see, I think I came home from residential daycare right before Christmas, I think it was. And I was not off of the air completely. When I say off the air, off of the tube completely until June. Okay, so I believe in spontaneous remissions. I've seen them. But in my world, even with a spontaneous remission, there has been some preparation of some sort. Whether it's a spiritual practice, and so you're so deep into the faith that you can see the thing transforming and being different. But it took all of those months of being consistent in moving myself through those three phases of the human nature, the spiritual nature, and the divine evolution or the divine nature. The one thing I will want to say, and all of this is contained within the one nature, because there really is only one nature. It's just where we tune into it, right? I think this is enough for now. I've been very blessed and fortunate that as I've gone through the ebbs and flows, I have never once, I believe, I checked with my crew, but I've never once said, I am responsible. What did I do to create this cancer in my body? Right? There's a lot of reasons and a lot of things that have happened that would have contributed to my suppressing certain things and not wanting to deal with them, which which could have contributed to the, to the lump in my breast. But I have never said to myself, I've caused this cancer. And I don't know why. I just had it in me. I just never said, I caused this cancer. I have always believed that the cancer was present in my body to for a reason and a purpose. And not all things have reason or purpose. Some things just being in the existence of it. But I think that was part of the key for how I've been weathering my journey, and quite frankly being able to stand it. It's going through any major illnesses can be pretty scary. Heart things. I've got a friend who had a heart condition, and they were telling me about their journey, and it was literally step by step by step by step. Literally. Oh, you can't be doing that. You can't be walking. And it was just step by step, and knowing that there is a power that fuels me. There is a power that feeds me. There is a power that generates the life within me. And I don't do anything. I don't do anything. I don't tell my heart to beat, my eyes to see, my ears to hear, my lungs to breathe. There's that innate source within me. All right? I think that's enough for now. Namaste. May you know the divine intimately. Blessings be unto you.